Hello, good evening on day 81, 199 days. Um, Today I'm honestly completely blank. I don't know what to talk about. And I kind of know why that's happening because I feel we're moving towards the end, or the fact that we're moving towards the end makes me feel like curious actually about you all. Um, I really, really want to know what actually you need or want or desire or are curious about to know the next coming days. I think I basically covered all of the subjects more or less, but I know there's always a different angle to any subject that I've already covered, because I've noticed that sometimes input from your side um, help me to just explain things differently or approach things differently. So I have honestly no idea if you would have, um, well, if you could influence the program for the next 18 days or so, what is it that I'm going to talk about? What is it that you need to make these 99 days and like an irreversible awakening? Do you know that? What is it that you need to to remove anything that still holds you back from awakening? And with irreversible, I mean not to the extreme of pure enlightenment, but becoming so aware that you're completely um, aware of things, even if you go through ups and downs, but you just don't get involved in it, or you don't get sucked down by it into the victim role. You're more like acknowledge that some pain has to be released, and then go up in your frequency again in a more adaptable way. So, what is it you need to get there? And what is it that you need from me in order to go to the next phase? And that's really about empowering, about really showing up authentically, always, anytime, everywhere, anywhere, or make a change in your life that you long for so much, or really be aligned with your vision, or even know your vision. So, what is it that you actually need to get the best out of these 99 days, or to end these 99 days in the best possible way you can think? So, is there something you can be honest about that you're still struggling with? Because somehow it is kind of a struggle. I don't think there's much of an unknowing anymore. I think you all kind of understand what the art of living is. But now the question is, can we get to the mastery level? That's actually kind of this irreversible awakening state. That you can become really resilient with life through its ups and downs if it's still there. But it feels differently. So you're not going to share this with me live now, obviously, because no one is watching live. But you can text it to me, or of course put it in the group if you like. Preferably with kind of a question. And if not, if it's just that this subject keeps coming up, then that's fine as well. It can be about time or relationships. And I know I haven't shared much about loving relationships, only one session, I think, and it has come up every now and then in other sessions. So is there a desire to hear my vision on that, or my perspective on that? Um, or is there a desire to know more about new paradigms? Because we're moving into a different era where actually different dynamics are going to be set in place. And of course, it's a transition period, so it's not all there yet. But from my experience, I already noticed that it works just completely different. There's no pushing anymore. There's no. It's nothing like I want something, so I'm going to get it. It's all just surrender. Show myself, surrender, and then things come back. And any resistance or any insistence actually is directly resistance. I like that one. When you insist on something, you actually resist something. And that's actually a new law, a new dynamic for the new paradigm. A new law of nature, I mean then. And it needs complete trust and faith that everything will be right for you and everything is already perfect as it is, even if nothing is happening. So there are moments in my weeks now that just nothing is happening, and a day goes by and I worked, but somehow it feels like everything is in stillness. And then all of a sudden there are things coming my way, and out of synchronicities, or in synchronicities I can't even think of. But it's not a constant, so it comes and goes. And it's really, really interesting dynamic, because I cannot even imagine how it worked before. It's just kind of like, that's just one thing. I don't think I shared it. I want to share it yesterday, but didn't come up. That if you raise your frequency, so if you awaken more, then you actually become a new you. So that also means that things you did in the past, or the way you did things in the past, or the way you thought about things, is obviously changing. But I always thought like, well, you still remember the same things, but actually by changing your present, you're also changing your past, which is hardly to imagine for the brain, of course, for the mind. But it's actually honestly true. Because as we know that every experience is a bundle of thoughts. So it has happened, of course, in our real-time experience. But then because it becomes the past, we only memorize our feelings and emotions, and some factual things. At least we think it's factual. But even people sharing the same experience at the same moment don't memorize it the same way. So if you then later in life change quite radically, like in this transformation we're in now, then looking back at the past might change things completely again. It's like, okay, what kind of example can I make of this? Well, it's like really the experience of your youth feels different. Because when you were in low frequency and you hold on to a lot of pain about your youth because you endured your pains there, as we know, then when you think about the past and about your family situation, these pains might come up, or these situations might come up. But if you release that pain, if you release that emotional block in your system, then thinking then again about the past gives a different feeling to it. So in our linear reality, you still probably have lived at the same place when you were young, but how you experience that life at that time will not be the same if you change. Will not be the same if you raise your frequency and um, feel differently about things, because you open up to new perspectives. You've widened your horizon, literally. But that also means that this wider vision is also reflected back in your past. And it really is quite interesting. I think I shared that before, that I had the most vivid change within 3 years difference. Yes, my awakening happened in 2012. And I had a huge fight with one of my, well, quite good friends at the time, or at least she had a fight with me. And I was just, I really felt this victim who overcome this. Or it just happened to me. That's how it felt, because it came out of the blue. And I think I shared this, but after this moment of awakening, I could not even remember, and I still cannot really remember what the fight was about. Just 1 or 2 sentences. And I can remember a little bit the feeling I had, but not really sense it in my system, but more like watching a video about it or a film about it. Like, oh yeah, that must have been something like that. But the rest is all erased. Isn't it fascinating? You think like you memorize everything, and they say that everything that ever appears in your vision is stored in your memory. So every single moment is stored somewhere in here. But because we put feelings to a visual, the visual itself might not have changed, but how we feel about it has changed. So it becomes a complete different picture, a complete different movie. And is that useful? Yes, of course, because then you don't get those memories and those triggers anymore. That's what we do when we heal those emotional blocks. Sorry. So the other thing about this new dynamic, and I already start talking about it, so probably this session is about more new ways, new dynamics, new paradigms. The other thing about this new dynamic is that things come in your vision, on your path, that kind of feels like a surprise or coincidence, and you actually have no idea what it means, and it really is. The idea is really just to not conclude anything, to just see what happens. It's again the same surrender that's needed. Like now, in 2 days' time or 3 days' time, I'm approached by people from the Middle East through Facebook or on the street who are new immigrants here, of trying to build up a new life. And one person approached me for Dutch conversation time. And it was really weird that then in a few days, kind of the same group of people with similar pains at the moment, because it's still very intense there. And they were approaching me for some reason, and I have no idea why. And I have no idea if I have to play any role there, or I will play any role there. That doesn't really matter right now, but I'm just curious if it's just a coincidence, if coincidence happen, or if there's some synchronicity here, and which of course is ultimately the truth. But then I still don't know if that timeline is my timeline to do something with it. So I'm kind of wandering around actually these days, still steady working on the new program and trying to set up everything for the online business, and also asked by others online if I would do a second version of these 99 days, which I felt really excited about, but I'm probably not going to do it. I'm going to do it differently. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird week, I think. Quite some emotions as well within me. I don't know if you noticed that there were some intense days. And when the energy in the out there just feels intense or more heavy than normal, then also issues come up somehow. Which of course makes sense because it's all about vibrations. So if I lower myself in vibration because the energy is more heavy, perhaps it was because of the thunderstorm here in Holland yesterday, then your reactions are different. You're more sensitive to arguments or to triggers, and then you easily get pulled down again. Which is fine because as long as you're still triggered, there's still something there to heal. Trigger is not a bad thing. It's just a nice little nudge from life to grow and to liberate yourself even more. So yes, again, the question from me to all of you. Please open up and share what you would like to hear more about, or if you would like to have more silent sessions, or if you would like to ask a question where you feel stuck with. Even if I would really love to do an open Q&A session, even if a few people are up to. So just have this live session with a little group. And there you can share your questions if you like, or share anything you like, and just see what happens then. Because in the interaction, it will be different than me sending my message to you. Oh, it's so empty within me. It's so funny. Feels very peaceful. You remember this cycle of change, creation, the cycle of creation I shared a couple of weeks ago. That there is this high excitement and inspiration and creativity and ideas, and everything is just all there at once. And then you go into the phase of triggers or emotions that come up, or even lack beliefs might come up, or doubts, and then you have to release those blocks that come up, or those emotions that come up, and then you go into the third phase of peacefulness and neutral. There's no high, no low, it's just all good. And it feels good. It's not like you're in a low vibes. It's more like contentment, ease, peace. That's actually where I feel I'm in right now. So I know that soon the upwards direction is coming again in full creation mode. And because from this stage, you cannot go into a trigger. It's really hard. I can sense that because it's a very solid state. It's like this neutral alignment with yourself. You know, this vertical alignment with yourself. And yeah, you first go up then again into the higher frequency of creation before you can go low again, because this frequency of creation is kind of testing you if you're up to it, if you're ready to share your full expression. But here in this neutral phase, if I may call it, it's just like this bath, warm bath of like, I want to be in here forever kind of thing. So whatever you say to me, it's all fine. I'm good here. I'm happy here as it is, and I don't have to do anything, and I'm actually happy to be me. And it's a different happiness than being in this creation exciting mode. So perhaps you can feel if you it's in the beginning I found it very difficult to sense these different states. But it's helpful because at least 2 out of 3 are a nice place to be in. And the third one, the trigger one, is less nice, of course, because it pulls you down, but still it becomes more easy during time, over time. So honestly, I could sit here for another half hour, crumbling around a little bit. Oh, not really a coherent session. This is. Anyway, I hope you picked something out of it. Or hopefully at least my peaceful energy. Straight coming from the heart, very, very open. Oh, I could have done that holding space session again. Oh, too late. I'm not going to add more, so if you want to end here, you're not going to miss anything besides my silent me. But I'm going to sit here for a while. Okay, I'll see you back tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye.